Hello guys, we are making this series to understand how can we work on asynchronous code. To work on asynchronous code, we should have a knowledge of some basic functions. These are the basic concepts. So we're gonna cover callback function, promises, async await functions. After using these functions, asynchronous code will be easy. So let's start with this code. So the first question comes that what is asynchronous code? So to demonstrate what is asynchronous code, what is asynchronous behavior, I will open my Visual Studio Code. I'm coding in a Node.js. This isn't a big deal, but you can understand what is it exactly. So basically, I'm gonna use this console.log function. This function print whatever we pass inside arguments. So this function will print number 1. This function will print number 2, and I will create another function which will print number 3. So now I'm going to run this script, and here is the output. In output we are getting number 1, number 2, number 3. Basically this execution is a sequential execution. But what is asynchronous? Let me insert one asynchronous code inside this function. So for that I have one asynchronous function which is a set timeout. This is an inbuilt function. What this function does is this function takes some code and this function run this code after some microseconds. So I will put 2000, that means 2 seconds, and what I will do, I will run this console log 2. So basically this asynchronous code will print number 2 after 2 seconds. But look at this code, what we are expecting. According to us, according to the sequential behavior, number 1 should print first, then after 2 seconds number 2 should print, after that number 3 should print. But let's run this script, and here is, have you see what happened, that number 1 and number 3 printed first, and after that this number 2 print, because the execution happened like this. Execution start from first line, our code printed, number 1 printed, then control come on this second line, and from here asynchronous code started. So basically asynchronous code execute independently while other execution keeps continuous. That's why after number 1 it goes to number 3, but after 2 seconds, starting from line number 2, after 2 seconds we got number 2 printed. So this behavior is nothing but a asynchronous behavior. So in next video we're gonna understand why asynchronous coding is so much important and what are the problems we basically face while doing asynchronous coding. Because as we have seen here, since this function is asynchronous, this executed in his own way rather than depending on rest of code.